Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Opinions with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing out there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie? Let's get on to this episode of Unpopular Opinions. But before that, I can't lie, I'm happy today. The reasons why I'm happy like the Pharrell song is generally because my team, Arsenal, went and got the dub today. We got the dub. We did against a tough Newcastle team. Last minute winner Gabriel, but you don't need to know all of that. You can watch that in Asking I Shall Deliver, which is out now on the YouTube channel. Check it out, Randy Prizzle, the one before this one. But let's get into this episode of Unpopular Opinions. But you know what to do below, all of that if you're feeling this episode and everything. A frontman constantly directing the crowd is cheap and tacky. Now, I don't think a frontman who directs the crowd is cheap and tacky. I think they're doing it to rise the crowd up. They're doing it basically to get the people more engaged, more enthusiastic about the artist that's coming to perform. So, I don't think it's cheap and tacky. That's just my opinion on that one. We move to the next one. Quick and easy. Cooking every day is a hassle and ultimately a waste of time. I do agree cooking every day can be a struggle, because you've got to buy ingredients, you've got to worry about what you're going to make the next day. I know people like to do meal preps and all of that, and that's fine. But eating the same food after the next day and after the next day and after the next day, I think it's boring. Do you know what I mean? That's just my opinion on that. I like to mix food up. I don't like to eat the same food every other day unless I'm forced to do it. Do you know what I mean? Unless we don't have enough cash to go and get the more ingredients to go and make another meal. So I have to settle with what I've got at that period of time. But for me, I always like to switch it up when I can switch it up. That's when I got the money. Then I'm happy to switch it up. La, 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 wait till I get my money right. I'm just buying steak most of the time. But anyways, that's for another time. That's just my thoughts on that. Next one. Mosquitoes should go extinct. Now, I believe that mosquitoes are a problem. Mosquitoes obviously carry malaria, for the people who don't know, which can get you very sick, probably can even kill you, which is mad. It's a bit grim, but that's the truth, and that's the fact of the reality that is. Mosquitoes are a problem, and I do feel that they should be eradicated. So whatever we can do to eradicate these menaces, let's go and do that, because they're a real menace to society. Not like the film, they're just a menace. So they really need to be terminated. Get the Terminator out there. You know what I mean? Arnold Schwarzenegger sayings. Get to the chopper. We need to take this son of a bitch down. They need to go down. They need to go. It is time. They need to die. And I feel they need to die. So that's just my thoughts on that. Next one. Most people are unable to actually articulate why they don't like an actor's performance. I don't think people are. I don't think people, you could see with your own two eyes if the artist is bad, if they performing not great. Do you know what I mean? You can see it. It's very visible. It's not that hard to see. Sometimes, listen, look at Megan Fox's acting. People, I think, obviously, I get it from a different perspective where if certain people are just so beautiful, certain people are just watching for their facial features. You're not watching for anything else. So if their performance sucks, you're not really going to tell. You know what I mean? Because if you're just staring at their face, oh, how beautiful they are, they're so wonderful, they look lovely, oh, their face is just amazing. You're just getting lost in the sauce. They just take their top off, they got shredded body and that. You're not really watching what's going on in terms of their acting performance, but you're just watching in terms of how they look on screen. So I hear it, but at the same time, people who look beyond that can also see an acting performance too. So it's a bit of here and there with me on that one. Do you know what I mean? I once was caught into a whole trap of a beautiful woman looking nice on screen, and then I figured out she actually is not that great. Do you know what I mean? So like how J-Lo is not great at singing, J-Lo is actually a good actor. Do you know what I mean? Because I've watched J-Lo in films. She's actually a really good actress, but she just sucks at singing. And that's just what it is. Next one. But listen, big up J-Lo still. She has had some bangers, even though the voice isn't great, but the bangers are banging, you know what I mean? Stuff with Ja Rule and all that. I'm real, I'm real. It's good stuff, do you know what I mean? Can't lie about it. She's had some bangers, Fat Joe and all them, man. LL Cool J, she sang with some big people, so big up to her on that one. Jenny from the Block and all that, you know what I mean? But still, she still's not that great singing. Anyways, let's move on. All right. Resumes need to be ended as a job application tool. I mean, I don't know how they're meant to figure out who the next candidate is then. I mean, resumes do tell a bit about a person, but at the same time, I do think a face-to-face interaction is also very good for someone to really engage how that person is or engage what that person is about. Because I have a resume, and my resume is pretty big, you know what I mean, in terms of I've worked a lot of places. I've sent them to some people and they sometimes just palm it away, do you know what I mean, because they don't potentially see what I'm like in character. I do believe that sometimes they should give you a trial run. Well, as soon as they bring you in, see your resume, okay, let's give that person a trial run, see what they're like, because some jobs don't do that. Some jobs do that, but some just rely on what they see on the resume and go, do you know what, that person's decent because of what's on their resume. And then they could have been lying on their resume. Do you know what I mean? They could have been telling a lot of fibs, telling you all this and that, just making it all sweet, which, listen, I hear it. If you haven't had a job in a long time, sometimes it's just best to just bolster it. Add bare nonsense on there, and you may end up with something. Do you know what I mean? You blag your way to the job, boom, you're in a position where you weren't in before, you're earning bare peas. So it's one of them ones still. So I can't hate on it. It just is what it is. But I do think you need to give people a trial run and see what they're like. And that's it for this episode of Unpopular Opinions. If you've seen this episode or any of the previous episodes, you know what to do below. All that. Big yourselves up, first time watchers, season watchers. And you know what I usually do when I finish? I'll give my opinions and I'll react later on. Let's get out of here. It's time to dance because Arsenal won today. We got the dub, brother, dub. Oh, yeah. 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 Oh